This podcast is for professional voice teachers to answer the question, how do I grow my teaching business and even break out of that one-on-one lesson model so that I can reach and teach who I want whenever I want. I'm your host, Allie Tyler, voice teacher of over a decade and marketing and business coach for fellow voice teachers. Welcome to the Voicepreneur podcast. Hello, lovely voice teacher. We are back. We are back on the show. And oh my goodness, it feels really good to be back. And I want to thank you for being so patient with me. And if you have been listening for a little bit and you wondered where I went randomly for like 3 or 4 weeks, I don't even know at this point. I am so sorry that I did that. That was completely unexpected. I do my very best to update people specifically on my Instagram stories. That's kind of like the best place to kind of know what's going on in my world. And I'm going to share a little bit about what has been going on in my world. And of course, I want to relate this back to business and hopefully inspire you wherever you are at with your business. This is a really interesting topic. It's not our typical kind of like marketing business tippy type of talk, right? So I actually want to share the emotional side of running a business. And I actually want to share this a lot more in the future, but hey, what better way to start than right here, right now, when things are real raw. Actually, they're not real raw for me right now. I'm definitely on the tail end of this journey I've been on. And just be real with you. I just wanted to be real with you, just to let you know that I'm on this journey with you and that we are all human together, and that running a business, especially if you are doing it by yourself, and I'm not even doing it by myself, and it is still hard. It's hard. It's like one of the most challenging things you'll ever do in your life, truly. And I think a big component that we have to talk about is this discussion between hustling and flowing, between working your ass off day in and day out, come hell or high water, and kind of flowing with what life has to give you. The way I like to think about this is that it's a spectrum, right? So if we are hustling our little booties off and we're working really late hours and we really aren't giving ourselves time off and our self-care is getting neglected, it's like too much hustle, right? That's way too far on one side of the spectrum. And then if you go way on the other side of the spectrum, this is kind of that more flowing, passive, we'll just kind of see how I feel today kind of mentality, which is also not good for running a business. We want to find something that is in between, and we want to find something that sort of flows with whatever it is that we are going through with life, because life is gonna life. That has been my mantra, and that has been my mantra for many years, but that has been my mantra for this particular journey that I have been on. So if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, I'm just going to tell you real quick, and hopefully this will not be something that interrupts anything in the future. It has been a huge learning experience for me, and I think that I am finally coming out of it. So I have probably mentioned on previous podcast episodes that I have dealt with chronic back pain for a lot of my life, probably half my life, more than half my life now. And specifically 3 years ago, I herniated a disc in my low back, and that kind of rippled all kinds of events, sort of learning that I had early arthritis at the age of 30 and totally denying it. I was like, that's hysterical. And I literally was like, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm not believing them. So I just did not listen to them. And then having a few other things with my hips and my SI joints. And oh my goodness, this is the craziest thing about the back. And if you are listening to this and you have back pain, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is unlike any other type of pain. This particular injury of herniating a disc and then having kind of what I'm realizing now, a lot of ripple effects with that particular disc, in that the tears from that disc are now floating around in my spinal fluid. And then this causes more of the fluid to be more liquidy and gelatin-like, which causes my muscles to constrict, which causes sciatic nerve pain. And OMG, it is nuts. It is nuts. Unfortunately, I am going through another spout of this again. The last time I went through this, it was 14 weeks from start to finish until I was able to, do my kind of normal activities, walking, hiking, and then moderate exercise. Right now, I am in my 14th week as I'm recording this, and my PT is telling me I've got probably about almost 2 more months to go. Unfortunately, because I have already herniated the disc and I have now a diagnosis of degenerative disc disease, so that whole early signs of arthritis thing was actually true. My body is wearing and tearing really fast, particularly my back, and it is looking that of like a 50 or 60-year-old. So every time I injure myself, I pull out my back or I strain it or I do anything that just kind of like tweaks it, I am susceptible to basically re-injuring it all over again. And every time I injure it, it's that much worse. It's like twice the amount of recovery time as the previous injury because I have such a worn out disc. It has been a fascinating experience, and I've learned quite a bit about how it's okay to not be okay, and specifically to not be okay publicly. This is very new for me. I am like, yeah, put me on the bathroom floor in my own house and I will happily cry all of my tears of pain and agony. But I would never do that in a grocery store or like talking to somebody, and this time around, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just so over what people think. I am miserable. I am in pain. I'm not going to like sugarcoat how much pain I am in. I am in physical pain. I'm in mental pain and emotional pain. And that is okay in front of other people. It is okay to feel those things very openly and publicly. That is a learning lesson that I've had from this experience. And another quick lesson that has been also super helpful, and kind of actually 2 lessons now that I think about it. One of them is that for me personally right now, with this herniated disc, I like to think about this disc as my accountability buddy. And I had once had a friend that was like, wow, what a really bitchy accountability buddy. And I'm like, yes, very much so. But you know what? That is what I need. Allie, I need a bitchy accountability buddy. I need someone who is on my ass. Oh my God. I'm like laughing about how true that is. Literally, this freaking thing is on my ass, and it is my accountability buddy to take care of myself, to take my health really seriously. Because I gotta admit, of the 3, mind, body, soul, the body is the one that I least prioritize of those 3. So I think that for me, I just need my disc to be an accountability buddy, to be like, yeah, you need to do your core exercises every day. Yeah, you need to go to a chiropractor every month. Yeah, you need to like go on a walk and eat really good food and get good sleep and do all of the things that we already know that we're supposed to do. But now I have just a buddy that's like, yo, this is how we roll. I'm gonna come out to play if you don't take care of yourself. And I think this actually goes along with the second component that I was thinking about, which is that the best support that I have received is when people acknowledge the pain that I'm in rather than saying things like, feel better and you got this. It's like, I don't know. I love where the thought is, but if you are someone who is in chronic pain and someone tells you to feel better, it's like, cool. Thanks. I'm trying. Like, I don't know. It's not what we really want to hear. What we really want to hear is someone to be like, dude, that sucks. That sucks. Like, I am so sorry that you're going through that. Or like my friend that was like, damn, that is like a really bitchy accountability buddy. I am so sorry. That is the best support that someone who is going through pain can hear. And I know because I'm going through it right now, and a lot of people have given me so much beautiful support. I'm not saying that people who have said those things are not supportive. That's not at all what I mean. But what I mean is that it just it really helps to acknowledge where people are at. This is true for you as a friend and a teacher for others, and it is true for you for yourself. We always want to acknowledge where we are at within ourselves. This is ultimately how we stay balanced on this spectrum, right? The spectrum between hustling and flowing is we acknowledge where we're at. So let's think about this in terms of being a business owner. Right now, you probably have a ton of different roles. You are a voice teacher, you are a content creator, you are a business owner, you are doing all the admin work, you are doing all your marketing, you are doing all the things, right? And then life happens. Life's, right? Just for me, lifed by basically shooting me down and saying, you know what? You are so injured that you cannot record podcast episodes. In fact, you can't even sit in a chair. You can't sit in a chair for a while, which is why I've been so delayed on podcast episodes, because I couldn't actually physically sit in a chair. So let's say this happens to you, right? Life's at you. What is a way that you can navigate that? How can you take that on with a growth mindset and with an entrepreneurial flexibility? The thing that I like to think about is, how can I be with this experience rather than resist it? So that's step one. How can I be with this experience rather than resist it? How can I be with my back injury rather than resist it? And this is for pain. And this is also for the fact that I could not work for so long. My organized on top of itself hated this. Oh my God, it was like torture, but it was good practice to be like, no, I can't guilt myself right now. This is where I'm at. This is what it is. I can't change this. So how can I be with it rather than resist it? How can you be with whatever it is that you are going through right now? Whether that's something amazing or something really hard or something in between, how can you be with your experience rather than resist it? I truly believe that the most important thing that we can do as business owners is take care of ourselves first. And that means we are constantly checking in with ourselves and respecting what is going on, both internally and externally. Now, this is interesting because internally, you might be thinking and feeling one thing, but externally, something else might be happening. And that's what's happening for me right now. I am so in the game mentally. I want to go. I want to hustle. I want to record and make content and make programs and make workshops. I'm like ready. I am so ready, but my body is not. And that is just the external circumstance. That is something I can't change. The only thing I can do is be patient, right? Maybe you're feeling the inverse. Maybe you have like all of the things lined up for you externally, but something is not quite right internally and you're just not feeling it. That's okay too. The most important thing that you do is you just check in, you accept where you're at, and you write it. Now, this is what's super fun about the spectrum of the hustle and the flow, because a lot of us lean into one particular side in our most natural state. You might be somebody that is a bit of a hustler, right? You like to do things, you like to get the ideas rolling. If that's the case, it's just good to know that you may be more prone to feeling guilt and shame when things don't go your way so that you can't do those things. I know this from experience. So we always want to check in. We always want to accept what's happening in life. We want to really focus on what matters most right now, whether that's for the season of life we're in or whether that's the projects that we are working on in our business that is going to move the needle the most. We want to tune in to what life is inviting us to learn, because life is always inviting us to learn things. Being a business owner does not necessarily have to be separate from your personal life. In fact, oftentimes they are very intertwined, right? So honor where you're at, own the season that you are in, and it's okay. You do not have to justify anything. We love you no matter what. I hope that this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. I know it was a little different than usual, but I hope that inspired you and it was helpful in some way, shape, or form. If you had any kind of aha moment, or you just want to chit chat and connect deeper on this topic or any of the topics, you know where to find me. Shoot me a DM over on Instagram at The Voicepreneur. And as always, if you want to check out any of the offers that we have over at The Voicepreneur, you can click on the links inside of the show notes. Thanks as always for tuning in. I so appreciate you. I see you as a business owner, and you are doing amazing, amazing things. This is hard work, but we are doing it together. I look forward to catching you in the next episode.